So I want to say straight off the bat that I am not the biggest James Bond fan. Like, I like it, I appreciate the series, and I like the character. I only watched the Daniel Craig films, so I appreciate the character, and I do plan on eventually watching more of the James Bond films and playing more of the games. And when I found out that IO Interactive were going to be making a James Bond game, I was eagerly anticipating this, and I finally finished the game for the first time. Let's talk about it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the story. Now, I won't be spoiling the story in any way, shape or form, but all I will say is that the story is very good. You're playing as a younger James Bond, someone who is still learning, still making mistakes and still figuring things out. He is not that polished spy that we all know and love, and the missions that he gets put on are pretty straightforward at first, I have to say, but they quickly escalate into much bigger things. The game's story feels like a very classic spy setup, but in the modern day, and I really like it. There's secret organizations, all the missions are pretty high risk, and there's people that you can't fully trust. And with a young James Bond, it's a different take on James Bond, which personally I've just never seen before. And that's what makes the story a bit more interesting. As the game goes on, you start to really see that shift where he becomes more sharper, more calculated, more controlled. And it feels like you are watching a guy called James Bond become 007 James Bond, if that makes sense. And it's really cool. I really like the story. Again, I'm not going to be saying any spoilers. I will say I love the characters. I think the friendly characters are really cool. And in terms of the villain, I think, no spoilers. I really want to emphasize that. But the story for the villain, I think he's all right. He's not bad. I wouldn't say he's terrible. I like the design, which was revealed in the trailers of the mask. I got to say that mask is just immaculate. So that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, story and characters, really cool. I really like this iteration of James Bond. Talking about the gameplay core, now you can really feel like IO Interactive gameplay all over it. If you've played the Hitman games, you can kind of instantly recognize this structure. You're not just really sneaking into places, it's kind of how you go through and figure out how to get through these places. The levels feel like I would say like a mini sandbox. There's multiple routes to get to destinations and different approaches to take, and it's kind of freeing just how you can handle the situations. But obviously this is a James Bond game. You're not just going to be running and gunning everyone you see. In Hitman, you're just kind of blending in, you're slapping people about, taking their clothes and just kind of blending in from that. In this game, it's almost the opposite. You're just lying and basically bluffing your way through areas. You can knock people out and kind of get the key card or something like that to try to get your way through to wherever you got to go. You can even fake surrender, which I thought was kind of cool, and like flip the situation. You can, knock them out when they're about to try and arrest you. You can hide and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the gameplay suits more of the Bond style, and I like it for the most part. And of course, it wouldn't be a James Bond game without all the cool gadgets and tools. And honestly, it's pretty much the best part of this game. It really makes it feel like a James Bond game. Early on, you can only equip like 2 gadgets, and I think as the game goes on, you can equip 3. It sounds really simple, but it actually makes you think about what you want to equip before each mission. So you're deciding whether you want to have more of a stealthy approach, or do you want to just go guns blazing, have like a rocket in a watch or something and blow up a wall, attract all the enemies nearby. These decisions are up for you to make, and I appreciate having that freedom. For me personally, I pretty much only stuck to 2 gadgets, and that was the little dart phone thing where you shoot a little dart out of your phone and it makes someone want to like shit their pants. I thought that was pretty much the most useful tool because it just incapacitates them totally and you can knock them out or even just sneak past them and they will not bat an eyelid. And the other gadget I just kind of chopped and changed, but it was never really used too much. The gadgets are very OP, and you have to collect like either batteries or some like liquid or something from all around the map to try and top up. So you can't just constantly spam the dart phone or any other gadget, which I think was a good thing. And it makes the gadgets not too overpowered. I would say they're more situational, but you're not just spamming the tools all the time, and you got to use them at the right time as well. And they can be used in combat. Now, let's talk about combat because I do have a lot to say, especially about the hand-to-hand combat. It took me a little bit of getting used to be honest. I was expecting more of like a Batman Arkham City type situation, like the combat in that. I'm sure some people would have loved to have seen that, and I'm sure some people wouldn't have. What I was expecting was something like that, but with IO's kind of spin on that. And that is not what I saw in this combat system. When it comes to the old fisticuffs, that's what I'm talking about. The first couple of fist fights I got into, I was like, okay, it took a little bit of getting used to. You can counter them, block them and punch them. You can grab them and punch them up a few times and bang them into a wall. You can dodge attacks and stuff like that. The first couple of fights, I was like, okay, I'm getting it now. as the game progressed more and more, I really felt like the combat in terms of the fisticuffs was just really repetitive. I wasn't really enjoying it as much as I thought. Whenever it came to fistfights later on, I just wanted them to be over as soon as they started. I ended up just grabbing people, punching them 3 times, then they would try and get one hit, I would dodge it, and then just kind of rinse and repeat, grabbing them and punching them 3 times until I could take them down. Yeah, to be honest, I just really didn't enjoy the combat as much as I thought I would. I think there's definitely room for improvement is what I would say. I think it was pretty cool having like the watch and the Q lens, that can be incorporated into fights, but I think that should have been maybe more of like, like how Batman has the, like detective vision. You can kind of sense where people are going to attack you and stuff. I think, you got the Q lens. So James Bond has some sort of thing like that. I think they could have definitely incorporated some sort of spin on it, but no, they just did not do that. So in my opinion, I thought the old fisticuff combat was just a little bit meh. But the gunplay I thought was really, really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. Every time I got the license to kill, I was pulling out the guns and just shooting everyone because I thought the guns felt great to shoot. I love swapping through all the guns that the enemies would drop on the floor and just trying to chopping and changing, getting headshots, throwing empty pistols at enemies when I had no ammo and then just punching them and then taking their gun. I thought that was really cool. I love the gunplay for this game. I loved it so much that anytime I had the choice between going silent or not, I would always just start blasting away. And that's usually quite unlike me when it comes to stealth games. But yeah, the gunplay feels really good in this game. I love the feel of each guns, especially the snipers. I thought the snipers were so fun. And I love that you can just like kind of vault over, chuck a cup at someone and that stuns them. You can knock them out, use your watch and shoot a dart phone or something at them. And then you can just grab their gun and start blasting their friends. I really enjoyed the gunplay of the game. So yeah, the gunplay is top notch. I think the combat for the fisticuffs definitely could be improved. But this game has definitely taken inspiration from Naughty Dog with Uncharted. And I think it shows pretty well. The game really shifts between being open-ended stealth and fully cinematic sequences. There's big set pieces, there's explosions, there's chase moments. It all feels very much on the rails, but in a good way. And it's definitely there for like the spectacle of it. You'll go from slow, like methodical, thinking your way through to just complete chaos and just kind of rinse and repeat. The pacing never really keeps it from feeling stale, thankfully. I like the pacing of the game, and I like the moments where it definitely felt like an Uncharted game in moments, but with its Bond spin on things. And now, let's talk about it, the section that you might know about, the drive-in sections. Yes, this game has drive-in sections. It had to be there. It's a James Bond game. It would feel amiss if there was no drive-in sections. And for me, I just did not enjoy the drive-in sections. I wanted to get them done ASAP. They were definitely the weakest part of the game. They're not bad. They're not terrible. I just would not say they're engaging in any way. It kind of makes it... You can definitely play these sections by itself. You literally just have to drive in the direction. The game will kind of guide you to where you have to go. There's some cool moments in there, sure. There's a lot of cinematic, like, filler bits, but the actual core gameplay of driving, it just wasn't for me, man. I didn't enjoy it that much. But yeah, with everything incorporated, the tools, the combat, the driving, the story, the graphics obviously being amazing, it feels like it doesn't need to be said nowadays, but is this game good? Yes, definitely good. Definitely worth checking if you're a James Bond fan. I feel like that goes almost without saying, but as from someone who's not really into the whole James Bond thing, this has now made me want to watch more of the James Bond films and pick up some of the James Bond games. I have finished this game. I think it's great. I think I'm looking forward to more of the DLC missions, which one just got announced yesterday, which is really cool. And one thing I might not have mentioned, I can't even remember now, the characters. The characters really do kind of make the game feel more better than it really should. I like Moneypenny. I like Q. I like M. I can't remember the guy's name. I like him. He was cool. And there's a lot of like story beats that are just I was expecting and I was still impressed by. Overall, this game feels like a mix of IO Interactive sandbox design with a little bit of Uncharted in there. And overall, you've got like the freedom and how you can approach missions. The gadgets are pretty cool, and that's a big thing, I think. The younger James Bond, I think, was definitely the right direction to go with. You can feel the character's growth throughout the story. There's some big movie moments in the game. And yeah, overall, I think this is a great game. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it knows exactly what it wants to be. It wants to be that spy fantasy, that sneaking, bluffing, adapting your way and just kind of getting to where you got to go and complete the missions. I really look forward to seeing where this game will go in the future. And with all the extra DLC that we're being hinted with, I think there's a lot this game has to offer. So overall, I would very much recommend the James Bond First Light game. If you have not played a James Bond game, this is a pretty good place to start. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little review. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe if you are new as well. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.